In our experience, the fastest way to get a program is to have a clinical champion, right? So there are certain specialties that we feel are better aligned with 3D printing in terms of demonstrating that clinical value and potentially the economic value as well. And so that's going to be applications like neurosurgery. It's going to be cardiac surgery, especially on pediatric cases. We see a lot of passion for the benefit it provides. Another one we haven't really talked a lot about is orthopedics and plastic reconstructive surgery. Those segmentations, because they're bone, they're typically easier, and there's a lot of value that those specialties have already seen in the space. So first is finding a champion that is going to be passionate and vocal and be able to garner the support. But then those are some of the places to look within. So that's, I guess, where I would. The other way to look at it, besides looking at a clinical specialty, is to go to radiology. So the two models I've seen is to either have it embedded within a specialty and start there, or start within the radiology lab. But again, it's going to be, do you have someone in the radiology department who's passionate and driven and very supportive, right? So wherever you get that support within the hospital, you need that champion. So, and then I'll hand over for additional perspective.
In terms of like segmentations, absolutely, that person needs to be right on. Every single person that goes through a process of understanding the anatomy, but not only that, be able to recognize imaging artifacts, to know what is actually image and what is actually, for example, a metal artifact in there and not including into your system, to be able to realize when a vessel is smudged up or is actually a real anatomy. So every single person that goes and focuses on an area needs to be able to recognize not only the vessel but pathologies. What is plaque? What is clot? So you can't actually do a good job without knowing those things. And it's a learning curve, but you need to get to know it.
So just one comment I just want to make on that question, because this is, I think, probably the most, in my opinion, one of the biggest questions and most relevant. So two things is, yes, if you have to finalize a design, doing the right segmentation and understanding the right, which is why all of them are biomedical engineers. So the translating between worlds and having clinicians literally next to you, kind of nice. The biggest thing is what's your goal? Because you'll think of it just like a tool, just like product development. If you don't understand how that case is going to go, or how that physician wants to use your tool, you're going to segment and you're going to create, and then you're going to print, and then you're going to spend the money, and then you're going to clean the model, and then you're going to show it to them and realize that that's not remotely what they wanted because they don't know what they need. So make sure that you spend enough time with either a clinical person or an RN or a doctor, especially for new cases, that says, and shadow them to say, this is what I'm going to do, because if not, you're going to go, and I'm an engineer, so gaga engineer on this, and spend $3,000 or who knows what, printing 6 to 7 models and go, wow. And my risk is that as your champion will then maybe not find as much value when you're really early trying to create early adopters. So that's really important, because we've learned that with certain high-end cases where we should have printed something first just to bring it to them and then printed another one. So that's just kind of, you guys can add to that, but I think that's a huge talking point.
That book, this Biodesign from Stanford, where they go through all the research process, this disease state, and so far it's like a Bible for most of the people that work in this area. You gotta know the disease.